All right, call our meeting to order. This is the regular meeting of Town Council for Tuesday, March 4th. We have called the meeting to order. I'll start with our acknowledgement. The Town of Ladysmith acknowledges with gratitude that this meeting takes place on the unceded territory of the Staminas First Nation. We'll move now to our agenda approval. And Ms. Boma, I believe we have an addition to the agenda this evening.
Yes, we do, Acting Mayor Mackay. Item 12.2, letter to the Premier regarding the recent U.S. tariffs and the forest industry has been added under council submissions at 12.2.
Thank you. And we have nothing to rise and report at this point. Moving on to minutes. Oh, okay. Then we will go for approve agenda with the addition. Apologies. Moved by Councillor Patterson, seconded by Councillor Gourlay. All in favor? None opposed. Motion carries. Let's move on to the minutes. And the 6.1 is the recommendations that Council approve the minutes of the regular meeting of Council held February 18th, 2025. Moved by Councillor Bertanen, seconded by Councillor Patterson. Excuse me? We've had it moved and seconded. If you need to make a comment, go ahead.
I just wanted to acknowledge Acting Mayor Mackay. It kind of caught me by surprise when all this happened last time. So for Councillor Mackay to step up to do all these extra committees, I know for myself, who works full time, I was just really thankful because I didn't have time in my busy schedule to do it. So I just wanted to acknowledge that's a lot of extra work for you to take on. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? We're just looking at the minutes. None opposed. Motion carries. Thank you. On to 7.1. And I, Mayor Mackay, have proclaimed that March 21st, 2025 as Down Syndrome Day in the town of Ladysmith. And actually, I'm going to just very quickly read that proclamation. Whereas World Down Syndrome Day is an international observance resolved by the General Assembly of the United Nations to raise public awareness of Down syndrome and promote equitable treatment of individuals with Down syndrome in accordance with the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability, and whereas at this time we take an opportunity to highlight unique abilities, strengths, and needs of our community members with Down syndrome, and whereas individuals with Down syndrome have tremendous potential to live full and fulfilling lives as contributing members of our community, and whereas as Canadians we celebrate our similarities as well as our differences, knowing we are richer as a result, and whereas the town of Ladysmith values our citizens with Down syndrome and their families and supports the well-being of all individuals with Down syndrome so that they may achieve their full potential. Therefore, I, Tricia Mackay, Acting Mayor for the town of Ladysmith, do hereby proclaim March 21st, 2025 as Down Syndrome Day in the town of Ladysmith, BC. And moving on now to number 8, section 8 is the committee minutes, and our first one is 8.1, the recommendations the council receives the minutes from the Parks, Recreation and Culture Advisory Committee held on February 19th, 2025. We have the minutes in our agenda, moved by Councillor Patterson, seconded by Councillor Bertanen. Any question?
Thank you. Through to staff, under old business, the Rudy Park plan, it says that they revised or looked at some of the options and stuff, and they will incorporate the feedback. When that plan comes, will a copy be coming to council for our not perusal?
Review.
We get a chance to look at it.
Through the chair, yes, the intention is that we want to bring those options back to the public, have one more engagement session, and then once we're comfortable with that feedback and we've captured it, to present that kind of the chosen one or selected one for council for consideration.
Thank you. Follow up?
Yeah, just bringing it back to the public. Would that be at the park?
Through the chair, that is the intention. Yeah,
Beautiful.
Sometime in the spring.
Thank you.
Thank you. So seeing no other comments or questions, I'll call the question. All those in favor? None opposed, motion carries. On to number 8.2, Arts and Public Art Committee, that council received the minutes of the Public Art Committee held February 20th, 2025. Moved by Councillor Bertanen, seconded by Councillor Patterson, getting over work this evening. And we do have this work from that committee coming up later in the agenda as well. I will comment. No other comments. I'll call the question. All those in favor? None opposed. Motion carries. Number 9.1, we're on to reports. And this is the recommendations to 1, approve the temporary use permit 3340-25-01 for Lot 1, Plan VIP 64257, District Lot 56, Oyster Land District 117 Gattaker, to allow the construction, staging, and layout area to support the construction at 440 First Avenue, and 2, authorize staff to finalize and execute the draft license of occupation attached as attachment C to the March 4th, 2025 report to council, and allow the use of 117 Gattaker by the developer of 440 First Avenue for a period of up to 24 months at a rate of $1,084 a month. We have someone to move that. Moved by Councillor Gurley, seconded by Councillor Bertanen. Discussion or questions? Go ahead, Councillor Patterson, then Jacobson and Gurley.
Thank you. Just a couple of questions for staff. The color diagrams, I guess this is the best one. Page 29, the blue shaded area, the heavy blue lines on the north-south alley, and then on the Gattaker alley, and then just kind of diagonal in them. Are those kind of like permanent gates?
Through to staff.
Through the chair, yes. The blue area, the heavy blue line in sort of a L shape or upside down L shape is the cordoned off area for the crane operation.
Okay, so that area will be shut down for the duration.
Through the chair, that's correct.
And just to follow up,
Carry on.
the full orange circle, that's the radius of the crane?
Through the chair, that's correct. That's the radius of the crane when it will weather vane. When it's actually hoisting loads, it will not swing over anywhere except the area shown in the light shaded blue.
So on weekends we could have kind of a bungee jump when it's not. I'm
I
out of here.
don't think we'll be doing that, but thanks for the idea. Other comments or questions? Anybody? Councillor Bertanen, sorry, then Gurley. Oh, sorry, Councillor Jacobson, then Gurley. I looked at you and said Bertanen. Yes, thank you. Okay.
Through to staff, I noticed that there is a clause for insurance that I actually have two questions. A clause for insurance that notes that the town is that covers the town's liability. Is there? Are we like? I'm a bit concerned about the neighboring properties. Can we just get some confirmation or clarification that the insurance policy that the developer carries will also cover off any damages possibly to the neighboring properties? And so that's
Through to staff.
Through the chair, that would be the responsibility of the developer. They won't actually be hoisting loads over neighboring properties. The anti-collision system and the zoning system and the crane will only allow it to be picked up from the pickup area and then to bring it over to the sort of main building. So, but that's generally not something the town would do. They will have to comply with all WCB regulations for crane. There may be insurance requirements for that. We're not sure.
okay. And then my second question was, I haven't seen any emails or anything from the neighboring property owners to this. Did we receive any communication?
Through to staff.
Through the chair, no, we haven't received anything as of this morning.
And okay, Councillor Gourlay, and then I have a comment.
Thank you. Through to staff, the $1,087 a month. Love to see that used for something other than just general revenue, something that kind of corresponds with parking or active transportation or paving. Can we put it aside?
Do we have, is that money ear tagged for anything, or where does that profit go?
Through the chair, currently it would go to general revenue.
Okay. Currently it would go to general revenue.
And I would love to see it go somewhere else. If anyone wants, can we put it in?
Is there a reason why you would like it to go somewhere else?
Because it's a new source of revenue, and might as well use it for infrastructure that is useful, like a reserve for paving, for example.
Can I?
Not a lot of money, but
it's really not a lot of money at all, and it's just another. There are situations where the town does generate funds like that go into the operating, into the business of the town.
Okay. All right. The last thing I would like to
Carry
say
on.
is thank you to staff and the proponent for figuring out a really good solution to a complex, weird scenario. And a big thank you to the residents of Ladysmith in advance for the extending grace and patience toward this scenario for the next year plus, because, in a time when in a mayoral by-election, we've been talking nonstop about economic development. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is a massive investment in our downtown core and new commercial spaces, new residences, and a lot of workers eating and shopping in our downtown throughout the week. It's just terrific. Thank you.
Thank you. And seeing no other comments from council, what I would like to say is that I do recognize that this is going to be an upset downtown. I realize it's going to be an upheaval for people who have to park through the day, for businesses that have to operate and depend on the parking, whether it's employees or shoppers. However, we have an entire street of buildings that are of the similar vintage to the building being demolished on the inside and rebuilt. Careful steps are being taken to retain the facade of the building so that we can retain our heritage look of our downtown, which is important to everyone, I believe. This is the first time anything like this is being done, and it is our opportunity to establish a protocol for doing this well and for ensuring that moving forward for the next building that needs to be redone, and there will be others, that we have a way to do it. There will be growing pains and there will be learning and all the rest of it, but I think it's really, really important, and I'm really, really pleased to see this much thought gone into it, and that we've been able to come up with a best solution. Nothing's perfect. The only thing that would be perfect is not taking up the parking, and I don't know how it would be done. I don't think it would be possible to be done without having some disruption to downtown. And there will be disruption, and it will hopefully get done as quickly as possible. But I appreciate the hard work that's gone into establishing this plan, and I support it. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Not opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we're moving on to the banner selection. And the recommendation is that Council, 1, approve the recommendations for the Public Art Committee for the 2025 Public Art Banner Program to produce banners based on the following submissions. By the title of it is By the Sea, Concept 1, Side 1 by Natasha Bartlett, and B, Along the Trail, Concept 1, Side 2 of the standards that we would put them on by Natasha Bartlett, and to direct staff to proceed with ordering and installing the approved banners. And to see the banners, if you turn to page 44 of your agendas, actually 47 and 49, we can see the pictures of them. So are you moving, Councillor Bertanen, moving the item? Anyone seconding?
I think it was Councillor Jacobson.
Okay, so just for the public's knowledge, our names are actually written on the back of our signs, and I still can't get it right tonight. So my apologies yet again to Councillor Jacobson. I wear the entire problem. Moved by Councillor Jacobson, seconded by Councillor, I'm afraid to say it, Bertanen. I say it wrong. Any other discussion or comment? Councillor Patterson.
Well, I'm by myself, so you can't mess that one up. Thank you, Mayor. I believe it was discussed before when we were approving banners over the years, but I guess I'd like to make an amendment that it would be C, that when the banners are put up, that the town have a information kiosk at the collage downtown that gives an explanation of what the banners are, the artist's name, and their interpretation of them, like it says on the back of above each one on page 47. So it tells the story of the banners to our visitors and locals, and that be a permanent structure. So every year, it can be the description can be replaced. So
It was discussed also at the Public Arts Council, Public Art Group, and the same idea was explored. And I'll let Director Chris Barfoot. Oh man. Okay, Director Barfoot to speak on it.
Thank you through the chair. We do include the information on the website, but I realize that that's not always the easiest information to access for people that are wandering downtown and might not do there. We do have the ability to add some information downtown. We do have currently we have a recognition sign for the lights, the Edison bulbs that were donated. So we have had past practice of doing this, and this would be a nice way to highlight the artist and the artwork and give the descriptions.
Is it necessary for us to add another part to this motion, or can we leave it clean and just be about the banners and then leave it with staff to just take care of that?
I think leaving the motion clean and leaving it with staff to look after that, we can do that.
Okay, you're comfortable with that? Okay, yeah, we know where you work. Any other comments or questions on the design? It's nice and bright. Can't wait to see them up. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, moving on now to bylaws. 10.1.1 Financial Plan Bylaw 2025, number 2206. The recommendation is that Council adopt Financial Plan Bylaw 2025, number 2206. Do I have someone to move? Moved by Councillor Jacobson, seconded by Councillor Patterson. Any comments or questions? This is just our final step in this process. Question, go ahead, Councillor Patterson.
And I should have twigged to it before. Page 51, revenues from other sources, 27,700,000, which is quite larger than the following years. Is that big jump the money for the Holland Lake Dam?
Through to Director of Finance.
Through the chair, the revenues from other sources would be grants and other items like that. Yeah. So at the Holland Dam,
11 million.
Yep.
Or approximately. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. No other questions? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? None opposed. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, on to our bylaw sheet, which is on page 56. We have correspondence included in our agenda 11.1 from the Chamber of Commerce statement on the Ludlow Road roundabout. And 11.2, there is a recommendation on correspondence that Council approve the request by the Forestfield Enhancement Society to raise funds for the implementation of the Lot 108 park plan, and 2, construct and install a permanent metal structure to recognize donors of the project. Moved by Councillor Patterson, seconded by Councillor Virtanen. Any discussion or comments? Go ahead, Councillor Patterson.
Thank you. The number 2, construct and install a permanent metal structure. Is that funds coming from the town, or is it funds being raised by the New Society?
Through to Director
Thank
Barfoot.
Through the chair, thank you for seeking clarification on that one. It is intended that the group would be funding the construction of that sign.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
No other questions. I'll go through and call the question. All those in favor? None opposed. The motion carries. Thank you. Moving right ahead. Brings us to item 12.1, and it is for information only. Staff will remove Councillor Stevens' signature from the policy. We have item 12.2, and I'm going to get Ms. Boma to read that out loud for us, please. 12.2.
Yes, this is a submission by Councillor Patterson, and he would like a letter to be sent to the Premier regarding the recent U.S. tariffs on the forest industry. And the recommendation at this point is that Council direct staff to draft a letter for the Mayor's signature to Premier Eby and Minister Parmar, urging them to act swiftly on their mandate to assist industries affected by the recent U.S. tariffs to find overseas markets.
So, okay. Moved by Councillor Patterson, seconded by Councillor Gourlay. Discussion, or did you want to comment on it, Councillor Patterson?
Not really. I think today's goings on from an escapee from a mental institution south of us highly indicate that moves like this are necessary. So, and to especially protect workers on Vancouver Island.
And we will ensure that our letter is looking at industries in general, all industries that will be, especially those would impact our own community. And there are many. Okay, any other comments or questions on that one? Okay, seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? And none opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Just before we slip into new business, there is no new business, but there is a statement from me. Go ahead before I get to speak.
Okay. We moved over this one quickly, and okay, I'm not going to apologize. On a point of information, item 12.1, the letter from Councillor Stevens.
Wait, excuse me, Councillor Patterson, this is not a discussion item. It is a piece of information.
On a point of order, Mayor, we have just gone through for this council, a very head-banging mayoralty by-election, and one of the biggest items of discussion was transparency. And I know this is a sore point with all of us, but if we just accept this letter, what does it mean to the community that when somebody stands up to be elected and they say, yes, I'm going to abide by all this, and then 2 months, 3 years, whatever down the road, say, well, I'm not really in total agreement with that, take my name off it. That does not give in my opinion, that does not give the position credibility. What I would like coming from this meeting is an explanation what this move does for council and Councillor Stevens. He gives his points and in his opinion, the legal reasons, and that's fine. I'm trying to get my point, my principle across, and it's not coming out right. But I think you understand what I mean. It needs to be explained to the citizens of Ladysmith exactly what this means, and do we have to adhere to the code of conduct whether you sign it or not? I guess is the point I'm trying to make.
I think it is what I know is it is not necessary to sign the code of conduct. It is not necessary for anyone to sign it. Therefore, logically, a person can remove their name from it. The code of conduct continues to exist. It is in place, and it is applicable.
Okay.
That's all there is to say.
And again, I don't want to stir up, but that should have been there. Instead, this does not say anything to the public. What you just said, to me, that would smooth it out. So thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Do we need to put it through to staff? Thank you. All right, let's leave it at that. I will take a liberty. It's my swan song. Tonight's my final meeting as the acting mayor for Ladysmith, and I want to take a moment to thank the community for allowing me this privilege. It has been a distinct honor to be trusted with the leadership of council and to represent the interests of our community here and on the bigger stage. I also would like to thank, inside of the community, my own friends and family, and friends I consider family. Thank you for your love and support and encouragement through this 6-month period. Over the past 5.5 months, I've had the opportunity to dive deeper into the complexities of municipal government, and specifically as it applies to the town of Ladysmith. I have always been and remain committed to ensuring the town of Ladysmith is governed responsibly, ensuring the future of our community is bright and filled with possibility. I'd like to take a moment to thank our Chief Administrative Officer, Allison McCarrick, and our incredible senior administrative staff. I have now seen firsthand your hard work and dedication as you navigate the challenges that come across your desk every day. You are constantly impacted by the tyranny of the moment. I've watched as you pivot and focus on an important issue or crisis that comes along in a day while also getting to our day-to-day business and getting it all completed. Thank you for all you do for Ladysmith every day. And finally, thank you to my colleagues, Ladysmith Council, for your patience and understanding as I fumble my way through learning how to be a mayor. Our differences are always overshadowed by our common love for this community. We all want Ladysmith to be the best that it can possibly be. Our unique priorities and perspectives bring richness to our discussions, depth to our understanding, and quality to our decision making. I am privileged to have had the opportunity to serve as your acting mayor, and I look forward to returning to my council chair when our new mayor is sworn in on March 18th. So I hope somebody will find my chair. Thanks, everybody. That brings us now to our question period. Do we have any questions from the gallery this evening?
Mayor,
You're not in the gallery.
I know, but on my part, and I believe everybody around the elected people, you have done one piss cutter of a job. Thank you very, very much.
Well, I would have been disappointed if you said anything different.
No, honestly, the amount of emotion that you put into it, and I've had the opportunity of serving with many mayors, I don't believe I've seen anybody take the weight, and especially what we've just gone through, like you have. And other than knowing what our names are, you have done absolutely an amazing job. So on behalf of myself, and I think the others, thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Very kind words. I will, however, still go to question period. If anyone from the gallery has a question. No, seeing shaking heads. And no one online, obviously. Okay, then I will call for our meeting to be adjourned. Moved by Yeah, and so we're not adjourning. We're going to go back to the closed session. So I'll ask the members of our audience to say goodnight. Thank you for coming out. Yeah, go ahead. And we're going to take a 5-minute break, please. Thank you.